guys, Ash from Off-Grid Mojo with an update. This upload here, as you can see, I have finished the graphics, and the question I've asked myself, am I happy with it? The answer to that is no. No, I'm not. The wrap went a bit pear-shaped, as you will see. I'll take you in closer. For some reason, well, it is my first go at doing a wrap. I don't know if you can see the bubbling in there. Around the zip ties, there's bubbling. No matter what I do, it just keeps bubbling. I've even put a few little snips with a razor blade through there, and it still bubbles. So I've been trying a few different things. Over here I've cut out circles of the wrap and put it over the zip ties, and even those are bubbling as well. So overall I'm not happy with it, but I couldn't go any further with the Duplicolor spray wrap, and the reason being was twofold. The first reason being was all of the super cheap shops only stock 3 cans of each colour. Now I needed about 10 cans to do the job, and for me to have been able to get 10 cans would have required me to travel to about 6 to 8 different super cheap stores, because none of them had 3 on the shelf anymore. Like, most of them only had 1 left. So it was a good thing that the wrap came, but it was difficult to put it on, even though it's like flat. My first go at it, you know, I did a bit of research into it, and maybe not enough, because it's this side, believe it or not, this side's the good side. I'd take you around the other side, it's shocking, and this was the first side. This is the side I had all the problems with, or I thought I did. I'll take you around to the other side. Oh, but before I do, here's the door. I managed to get the old red Duplicolor off, and the best way to do that is with the stuff-ups of the wrap that I had over here that I was going to throw out were still really sticky. So I just ripped, stuck it down, pressed it down, and then ripped it off, and it all came off. And then I cut a new piece of green for this door with a nice fresh slate and put that on, and the same thing happened. For whatever reason, the wraps do not want to stick on this core flute, the 2.5mm. Whether it sticks on 5mm gauge or 8 or 10mm remains to be seen. I did get 2 more pieces of 5mm core flute for this, because most of the Bunnings stores had sold out of the polycarbonate. I wanted to just rip it out and do another polycarbonate door like the walls, but they'd kind of sold out, and I wanted to get on the road and go, and so I've just left it. And besides, I think it's a good thing, because this green wrap is so bright that when I'm travelling down a road and the sun's coming from the back and you got cars coming up behind, it may blind them, and they may bloody well run me over, mate, and I don't mind that. Not at all. Anyway, I don't know if you can see this, but it's freaking shite. See all that? No matter what I do, I can't get it out. I've put little pock marks in there, pinhole marks, and tried to thingo it out. It just will not bloody well come out. That being said, for my very first wrap attempt with graphics, overall I'm happy, but it just looks shite. For if a wrap person was to come along and see this, they go, "Oh mate, geez, what have you done?" Anyway, there's so much other things I could pick apart about it, but I'm not going to, because I'm going to try and be kind to myself. You should have heard the swearing the other day, it was shocking. And I wanted to clarify something else. I'd given some misinformation. This insect mesh I thought was thrip proof or midgie proof or whatever, sandfly proof or whatever. I thought that the day I looked at it and bought it, I didn't have my glasses on, and I thought it had, through the heavy gauge, another like really thin hairline couple of things that were supposed to stop midges and that. Well, I can tell you this, it doesn't have it. I put my glasses on the other day and it doesn't have it. Anyway, here's the inside. Probably a bit hard to see. It's a bit messy because I'm in transit at the moment. I've just gotten here. I'm at Granville, and I'm on my way to Coronella to spend a week with my son. He's coming camping or glamping with his dad I'm going to the Coronella Caravan Park to pick him up. To set all this up with hopefully the air tent. Then I catch the bus back to where he lives, and then I drive my van from where he lives with him back to the storage shed, and I grab the air tent and I take that down to the thing. I know it sounds ridiculous, but there are some time constraints involved around picking him up and him being available at certain times, and me getting back to the campground at a certain time, and I couldn't do it with all the bus interchanges and that, so I had to use the van. So once again, this bloody van, when I say bloody van, like, it's just, gasoline prices and everything, but it really has come in handy here and there. So anyway, here we are inside. I haven't put the EVA foam on there as yet because I just don't have the money for it at the moment, but look, it's not a big deal. It's doing the job as it is. I've slept in here quite a few times already with this like it is. There's just some unsightly wires hanging out, but that'll all get covered up in due course. All the power boxes and monitors are all hanging off by zip ties. That's okay, not for long. And that's basically it, guys. So glad to have finally, finished it. To at least I can travel around now. So this trip, including the week with my son, will be a 2-week sojourn. My son, for obvious reasons, will not be travelling with me in this because I don't have a second seat for a person. If he did come with me, he'd have to be sitting or lying down in the back of that, and that's not fair. It's not fair to him. So I do a week with him in Coronella, and then I travel after that. I take him home, and then I go to Phillip Island, and then Inverloch, and I'll be filming all that as well. And later down the track, I'll be buying him his own little trike, and then when he's big enough to ride the Magnum, that'll become his bike, or when he's with me he can ride that. So then he can come away with me, we can go away together, we can all take trikes or whatever, and hopefully I've acquired a key for the padlocks for the Great Southern Rail Trail by then, and we can take this and he can ride on the rail trail in relative safety without the fear of getting run over, or without me stressing about him getting run over. Hey guys, I wanted to talk to you about a few uploads ago. I was talking to you about, how's it panning in? I was talking to you guys about how the Bafang was cutting out, and I've just come through the shunt off again, and the same thing happened. I tried a few different things. One of the first things I tried was I kept an eye on the watts coming through, or being used, I should say, being taken out of the e-bike battery as I was going up a hill. Now, if there's any truth, or I'm sure there is, that the e-bike batteries or the controller itself has that cut-off thing at 250 watts or 25 k's an hour. I can tell you from many times on my way here that I kept an eye on the watts that were coming out via the controller. Never got anywhere near 250 watts, and the reason it didn't is because I had it in level 4 on the controller, and I just had it in I'm not sure if you say the highest gear or the lowest gear going up a hill, but it was the easiest gear, which means I was doing a lot of RPMs or whatever, a lot of pedal turns, as compared to if I was in, say, gear 5 or 6, it'd be slow. So whatever it is, high or low, I don't know. But anyway, so to give you another view of what happened, because that happened like that, I thought, all right, I'll drop it down to level 2 and I'll still have it on the highest gear, right, the easiest gear. It happened again, and this time there was only 75 watts coming out of it. So this only ever happens going up a hill. It never happens on a flat. So I'm pretty confident to cancel out that European standard that we go by here. Now, my friend Dave, g'day Dave from Cybertrek Australia, and in a previous Hail Mary that I asked for in an upload, if anyone knew what the cutting off was, Dave, thanks for chiming in that time, mate, said to me that he had a mate that his did it all the time, and in the end he just put up with it, and he seemed to think or believes that it has not so much to do with the battery cutting off or the controller because of the cut-off thing, the European cut-off regulations, whatever it is that we go by. He seems to think that the Bafungs or the batteries or whatever it is, or a combo of the two, don't like high power with slow pedaling going up a hill. It's too much torque or something coming through. So could that be the issue? Yeah, it could be. And once again, I touched the casing of the Bafung. It was quite warm. It wasn't as warm as it was that last time when it first did it. So how many times did it do it this time? It did it like 6 times, and the last time it did it over 20 times, I'm sure. I lost count after at about 19, 20 or whatever, and it still did it a few times after that on the original time I noticed it. The only other thing I can think of is the boost controller, the step-up controller. Well, actually, no, I don't think that anymore because I disconnected it. I thought that might have been the problem. So I disconnected the power coming from the living module's battery into the e-bike battery through the boost converter. I disconnected it. So that was no longer, that could no longer be the culprit because I disconnected it. And it still did it once or twice after that. So I don't know. Is it frustrating? Yeah, it's frustrating. You're going up a hill. I mean, you're not going fast. You can't. It's like well over 400 kilos of weight on this thing, man. There's no chance of going fast up a hill. So when it cuts out, the issue is if there's somebody behind you in a car or truck or whatever, and you stop and you're not quick enough to put on your brakes, you start rolling back. Now, this is 400 kilos of machine. Anyway, because I've got it in my mind now that it does it, it's not as scary as the first time. The first time I panicked a bit. I was going, the hill it did it on, which is on the way back, maybe that's going to do it 20 times that the next time I go back, but the hill was just ginormous. I don't know what the inclination gradient was, but it was massive. So anyway, I don't know. If anyone knows, chime in, leave me a message. Let's try and sort this thing out. Yeah, it's just frustrating now. It's not so much scary anymore, but it'd be better if it didn't do it. If I'm not able to fix it, what am I going to do about it? Nothing at all. But I'm pretty resourceful, so I'm sure at some stage down the track a resolution will present itself. If it's not too expensive and it makes sense, then I'll look into it some more and maybe action that. But until then, yippee-ki-yay, see ya.